What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. We are all nude today. I wanted to give you guys a video of basically my everyday glam. So if you guys were ever to run into me somewhere here out in Chicago, if you're here in Chicago, this is typically what I'm looking like. Nudes are my absolute favorite to wear. I feel the most confident in them, and I just feel like you can adapt to any type of surrounding with this type of look. So if you guys like to see how I get my everyday glam, then keep on watching. Got my hair up, we're ready to go. So I'm gonna jump right into the eyes today because I want this to be a little bit of a smokier glam. So going in, as always, my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the color Light Beige. Just putting this down. I think this gives me perfect coverage, really helps to just give me a clean canvas for the shadows to work with. Now taking a little bit of this Mercier translucent setting powder and using that to just lightly set the eyes for the shadows. So I've been asked this question a couple times, and it's, if you could pick one eyeshadow palette to use the rest of your life, what would it be? And for me, it's seriously so hard to pick one because I just change up how I'm feeling all the time, and I like my makeup to reflect that. And so one palette doesn't really ever just satisfy my needs, which is why I have like a billion palettes. But if I could pick, I don't know, this is so hard. See, this is like so hard for me to say this because I hate saying it, but if I can choose a palette that gives me everything that I want, and for something that I know that I can pretty much stay, this is so hard for me to even explain. Nudes. If I'm gonna stick with just neutral nude colors and I can only pick a palette that's gonna satisfy those needs, I have to say it that way. Then it would have to be not one, but two. These two palettes right here, they are my favorite palettes to dip into at any time of the year, at any time of the day or night. I feel like these palettes can give me everything that I want. So I hope that kind of answers that question. I know it really doesn't, but I would have to say these two, and they're both Colourpop. This is the I Think I Love You palette and the Double Entendre. I'm gonna show you a little preview really quick. So this is the I Think I Love You palette. Again, just like nice neutral shades, has a black in there. I love when palettes pop a black in there. And then this is the Double Entendre palette. Again, nice nudes. You can tell that they are very, very similar to each other, but still offer slight different colors. Let's get into the eyes. So the first palette I'm going to jump into is this I Think I Love You palette, and I think it's this color right here. If you guys have seen my other video, you know I'm like stupid when it comes to how they package these on the back. Some of them will package it mirrored behind, and some of them will package it flipping. So I don't even want to screw up the names. It's not, I don't need, no. So we're gonna go into this shade right here, and it's either Bel Air or Fancy Face. And we're gonna go in with my Smith 232 brush, and we're just gonna go ahead and work this color right into the crease. I love starting with a nice neutral to warm transition shade. That's like my personal favorite. If you saw one of my last videos on cool tones where I asked you guys if you were team warm tone or team cool tone, I'm definitely team warm tone. So again, just working this all over in that crease. And then always for me, you guys know I love sweeping mine right out to the temples because I like that almond shaped eye. Moving on to the next shade, now I'm gonna jump into Double Entendre, and I'm gonna dip into this shade right here, which is very similar to the first shade that we used, but this one is just slightly warmer. So I just wanna emphasize that warmth through the crease as well. Now I'm gonna grab my Morphe M433 brush, and we're gonna jump into the I Think I Love You palette, and we're gonna go in with this shade right here, which is just like a little bit more of a warmer, darker brown. So just dip into there, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus this shade all along the lash line right here, and then sweep it outwards. Then I'm gonna take whatever's left on the brush, and I'm gonna kind of push it right on the outer corner, and then kind of push it into the crease, just making sure that all those edges are blended nicely. Then once I have that layer down, I go back in with a little bit more. I'm going to layer on top of that just to deepen that up a little bit. Smoky lash lines are just my go-to as of the last year. So that's basically what we're going to do, is we're going to create a nice smoky liner because That's what I like. And so we're just gonna keep building onto that intensity until I get it to that depth that I'm looking for. Now we're gonna grab a smaller brush because I really wanna start smoking those details. So as always, my favorite brush of all time for this job is the Morphe E36 brush. Now jumping back into the double entendre, you see why I bought both of these? Because I just love different shades out of both of them. We're gonna be dipping into this shade right here. So now this one's gonna be even a little bit more darker than this shade that we put along the lash line. And a little bit more of a, I don't know how to explain this one. It's like, kind of like a red warm. It's really pretty. So we're gonna dip in there with our brush and then again, just build up that smokiness along the lash line. And then, as always, pushing that outwards. After that's blended, you kind of take a step back, see if you like it, see if you like the intensity, but then always go back in more if you want it to be darker, which is usually the case for me, so I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more. And honestly, that's really the key to blending. I feel like when we have this perception of, I want a smoky eye, so I gotta get all the shadow that I can on my brush and then go ahead and smoke it, when that's not the case. You really just wanna build in small layers because then it's gonna be easier to blend and they're gonna blend into each other a lot easier. And then you just get that nice layer of depth to your shadows, because a lot of times when we pick up too much and we try to blend it, it just gets a little sloppy, it gets patchy. So doing it this way in small layers really ensures that you get just that flawless, smooth look. All right, so taking the same Morphe E36 brush, going into the I Think I Love You palette, dipping into this black shade, just very, very softly. And now we're gonna focus that real tight on that lash line. Really give it that nice smoke that I'm looking for. Once I have that initial kind of like just soft, small black layer right there, I like to go in with my Japonesque eyeliner brush. This is just a nice angled brush, and I like to then kind of give that little cat eye carve within that smoke that we just kind of smoked out towards the temple, and then give this one a little bit more detail, and then kind of like flick it just a little bit. So I kind of like go back and forth until I get the desired shape that I want. Then I like to take whatever's left on that brush and just go towards the inner portion of my eye just to make sure that that line is blended nice. There's just something about having a good eyeshadow wing that just gives it to me lately. I just feel like the best in it. I don't know, I just feel sexy. But don't get me wrong, I still love my liquid liners and my pencil liners. And you know who's been rocking the liquid liner so good as of like the last month, maybe 2 months? Katie Luster Lux. Like, that's how I used to wear my wing like years ago, and I loved it. Like I wore it like that 365, like every single day of the year, always. And then I just strayed away from it, and I saw her bringing that back, and I was like, girl, do the damn thing. I love that clean liner look. All right, so grabbing my MAC 239 brush, dipping into the double entendre, we're gonna dip into this shade right here. It's just like a really soft, shimmery vanilla. And this is really gonna help to brighten up all throughout here. So I just like to stamp it right here and kind of bring it, I would say not all the way to the middle of the lid, but pretty damn close. And you can already tell like how much that helped to brighten up that area. I'm always so conscious of making sure that area is brighter just because it does tend to get pretty dark right there for me, and I want to keep that light and bright because it just gives that illusion of a bigger, brighter eye. So that's why I love making sure that this is nice and lit. Then same palette in the double entendre, I'm gonna dip into this shade right here. It's just like a really pretty, like soft brown, light brown gold. Same brush, gonna dip into there, and I'm just gonna pat this shade right here on the middle part of the lid, and then just make sure it just blends into this color and then into the outer portion of the eye. And notice I'm doing more of a patting motion and not sweeping through. This really helps just to kind of pack that pigment and make sure that's blended. Then grabbing my Morphe E36 brush, dipping into that double entendre, that like darker shade that we did, and just taking that right over the black and then a little bit above it to make sure that that still stays smoky over that shimmer shade we just put down. Moving on to the face, I'm going to be using my Elysian Continuum finishing treatment as my primer for my makeup. For today's foundation, I want to dip into an oldie but a goodie for me, and it's the Smashbox Studio Skin. I used to use this all the time when I worked at Sephora. I'd wear it on myself, I'd use this on my clients. I love the way that this stuff looks on the skin. This is not my shade, but I'm gonna make it work. I unfortunately don't have a lighter one at the moment, so you know, we make things work here. Taking my IT Cosmetics number 7 brush, you guys know this is the jam, and oh yeah, not my color, but you know, we make this work. So just really focusing on buffing this all into the skin. So this shade was 2.4, and I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but in person I'm looking a little jaundice, just a little too yellow for my liking, but like I said, we're gonna make this work, so I'm gonna balance this out with concealers. Back with my Born This Way Too Faced concealer, this shade Light Beige, and I'm just gonna mix a bunch of different concealer colors together so that you know, I get a better color than this. So now the Colourpop No Filter concealer, this is in Light 18. Kind of put this a little bit everywhere. Ooh, I forgot about that blemish back there. Then taking my beauty blender, blending all of this out. I might have to still go in with a little bit of a brighter concealer since this still, I feel like, will still look a little yellowy. I get a lot of people asking me questions on how to match your perfect foundation shade, and it's so hard because here I am using a color that doesn't match me perfectly, but what I'm doing is taking my concealers and manipulating it to be a shade for me. So I know it might not seem that easy, but that's basically what I do to match foundations, or at least just make foundations work for me. Now taking Colourpop No Filter concealer in the color Light 16, this will really help just to kind of brighten me up a little bit more. If you're finding that your foundation is looking maybe too yellow on you, that can mean that the foundation can be too warm for you, and you can try using like a cooler tone, or at least something in a neutral family that can definitely help to tone that down, and vice versa. So if you're finding maybe your foundation is looking like pinker or redder in that family, you can use something more neutral or a little bit warmer to kind of cancel out that pinkness. So now I'm going to take the Smashbox Studio Skin Concealer. This is the shade Dark Warm Olive. I want to use this to try to contour with. So you guys know how I feel about applying it directly on the skin. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that concealer, pop it on my mixing pan, and dip in my brush that way. Taking my Morphe E8 brush, just very, very lightly kind of coating the tip of that brush, really making sure to kind of blend it thoroughly because I don't want it to be super dark immediately when I apply it. And then we're just going to pounce this and kind of do little swirls onto the skin. That's really giving me more of that easier control so I can build up where I need that color. So far I really like, okay, first of all that was way too much. But so far I really like this shade color. It's looking like all the other kind of cream contour colors that I've been using lately. For the nose, going in with my Hakuhodo Sephora brush, dipping in that, and then lightly going down the side of the nose and really blending that shade in. The one thing I've noticed so far with using concealers as a contour shade rather than using a product that like a cream contour is that they're a lot more pigmented. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a bad thing if you really aren't that successful yet in blending and it could be too much, but it could be a good thing because then it really, I feel like it lasts a lot longer than just like any old like cream contour shade. So I definitely like it for that reason. And then you can always just take your beauty blender like me and blend it in, and it just definitely helps to get that all in there as well. For setting my under eyes and kind of a little bit everywhere, we're going to be using the Laura Mercier setting powder. This is the translucent one. I'm just going to dip a little bit into my cap And then take my beauty blender, dip into there, and we're going to press all throughout here. Notice I haven't used my RCMA powder. I wanted to try something a little different. I know that I used to use the Laura one all the time, so I really wanted to just see it by itself and see if I remember liking it as much as I used to. But I just so heavily rely on my RCMA because you guys know I'm obsessed with that powder. For bronzing today, we're going to be using the Park Avenue Princess by Tarte. I love this palette. I think it's just such a perfect palette if you're looking for some highlighting, some contouring, and some bronzing. You really get everything that you need in this palette. So I'm going to be taking my Japonesque powder brush, and I kind of just want to dip into these two shades right here, which are both matte shades. Ooh. One's a little bit cooler and one's a little bit warmer. So by mixing them together, I kind of get that perfect little mix. And we're just going to go over that concealer, that darker concealer shade that we used to contour with. And we're just going to blend this everywhere because I love looking bronzed AF when I go out. And then always get to the neck so that that is blended in nicely. Then we're going to take my Amrezy Anastasia highlighter, love this guy, with my Morphe M510 brush. Just dip into there, really highlight and glow the skin. This is one of my favorite highlighters I've ever used in my life, ever. It really sucks that it was a limited edition because I truly feel like it's so good that it should just be out forever, but you know, that's just me. Then I'm going to be taking my Japonesque highlighting brush with this Lorac blush. It's in the color Prism. I love this blush color. It is so perfect. Like, I'm going to be wearing this all summer long. So, and this is what I basically use all the time when I go out, so love this one. We're just going to apply this right on the cheeks, and I want to be a little bit more generous because I really want some color to pop through right here. Once that blush is done, I really want to clean up under here, so I'm going to be taking the Laura Mercier powder again with my beauty blender, and we're just going to go right up under here. Really just kind of carve that out and clean it up. Sometimes I get kind of sloppy with my bronzer, and depending on what kind of brush I use, like when I use a bigger brush, it kind of gets a little bit everywhere, so this really just helps to clean up all that mess. Then just taking this fluffy brush and blending that all away. I really don't let that sit for long, just kind of really quick, just to give a little cleanup because I don't want like too much brightness under there. And then anywhere else that powder was, just clean that up. Now let's go ahead and spray the face as always. My Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. Ooh! Normally I do maybe like 1 or 2 sprays less than that, but because I've been so dry lately, I just basically douse myself in it more. But if you're not someone who's dry like me, you can just 1, 2, 3 and you're set. To finish off the eyes, I'm going to be taking this Anastasia brow highlighter duo. So I actually use this as not only to highlight underneath my brows, but to line my waterline because it has a matte and it has a shimmer. So I use the matte right here. It's literally my favorite nude color ever. I don't even know the color of this anymore because it is just worn out. Wait, I think I can see it. Matte Shell Lace, I think it says. But yeah, you guys, I love this as liner. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it really helps to just kind of brighten up the eye and make it look a little bit cleaner. So now I'm going to grab my Makeup Forever 216 brush and we're going to dip into the I Think I Love You palette and use these 2 brown shades right here just to lightly smoke up underneath the eye. Now all that is left to do is the brows and lashes, and there's nothing new here, so I'm going to apply those really quick and I'll be right back. Alright, lashes and brows are on, and you cannot complete this look without a nude lip. I love pairing this look with a nude lip, and one of my favorite nude lips to go with this entire look that I find just lasts throughout the entire night, I go in with my 2 LA Girl lip liners. You guys know my LA Girl lip liners are my ride or die. They are my favorite. So what I do is I mix the color Cafe with the color Sugar and Spice. I get a nice line lining down, make sure it's even, perfect, a little bit fuller, so I do like to overline with these a little bit. And then I go in with my Dose of Colors Desi X Katie lipstick, the color No Shade. Put that on and it is magic. And there it is, my perfect nude lip with my perfect nude glam. Nudes will always be my favorite. I can wear nudes all day long, all different types of nudes. I just like being nude. I also love this look because you can literally wear it anywhere, any time of the day, any type of event. You wear this and you're just good to go. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this look and I hope you guys try to recreate it at home. And if you do, don't ever hesitate to tag me in anything that you guys do. I love watching your guys' work and I love when you tell me that you've tried something new. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love to interact with you guys about. Thank you as always for watching. I love you guys so much. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to all my videos if you guys like to see more. And if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me there. I am Devon. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great day and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.